What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Fast and Turious. Man, it's been a while. I'm back with actually someone's been here before. I didn't realize you go by Dan. You go by Dan?
Dan's easy. It's 3 letters.
Gosh, I've been calling you Daniel.
Done.
I'm here with Dan Peterson, previous guest on Fast and Turious almost over a year ago. He had been a gold partner, and now he's a platinum partner. This is overdue because we'll talk a bit about that. But Dan, welcome back to the show.
Baby.
Congrats, baby! This is awesome. We're so many people. I think because what we love doing here is telling stories, and so many people it can be isolating, and I think so much power in hearing other people's stories, especially as they go through these tiers, and because it often will be like revenue maturity and business maturity. So thanks for showing up. Okay, so let's get it. You were correct me if I'm wrong. You were you started as a partner when?
Yeah, so we started as a provider, not even a partner, back in October of 23, right? Pretty much throw your name on the website with hundreds of thousands of people. Good luck. We entered the partner ecosystem in February of 24. It's officially bought in, signed up and became a partner. Within a month, we became gold, and that was in February, March 2024. So,
and then you hit platinum 1 year later, March 25.
A year later, yeah, March, same time frame. Yeah.
Okay. So traditionally, Dan's been here before, and he's already talked about how he's become a partner. But I think it's helpful because it's been so long going through that journey. Like what made you become, what got you to gold? And then we're going to talk specifically about I want to spend a lot of time here in a second talking about the transition from a gold to platinum, and we'll talk more about that. But first, we'll get you started.
It's a very different story from nothing to gold too. So I'm excited to talk about that.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So really, to kind of answer your question, to kind of starting off why I started this, this company and wanted to be a partner, is I noticed that I had a skill set in the industry we're serving, which is what we niched into, which is industrial, right? If you guys go watch the past, podcasts, I have a manufacturing background. I, consulted in Dynamics, right? Coming out of that world and stepping into HubSpot. I've been in the HubSpot game for a while now, but really started this because I saw a need, a really technical need around a lot of these companies, because industrial in general, they were from 8 to 12 years behind in tech, right? So I saw a great way to start revolutionizing this industry. So that's kind of the short of why I stepped into this realm and became a partner.
And it's clearly working. So you're doing something right.
It's working well, yeah.
Yeah. Went to gold. Now he's platinum. And there's gonna be revenue. There are people who've done faster, right? There's people that have never done it.
Oh yeah. There's people who hit diamonds in a year. Yeah.
There's also people who have never done it all. And I think what I want to honor is there's a lot of different ways to do it. But correct me if I'm wrong, Dan owns 100% of the business today.
Yep.
Okay. Owns 100% of the business. Bootstrapped.
Yep. Never taken any funding. It was $2,500 out of my back pocket. So that was that's what we got started on. That and a dream. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're bootstrapped. This is I think it's a cool story. It's not true for everybody. I think it's important to understand.
It's not easy, and it's not for the faint of heart when it comes to business.
There is no easy path. There are just paths. Okay, so let's talk about, you went to gold. It took a year. And talk to me. The journey is you hit gold, and you're like, okay, I'm going to hit platinum. And what are the three hardest parts about going from gold to platinum for you?
Yeah, I think right when I started this partnership and we hit gold, it was just me, right? I was the everything hat. I was the garage CEO, the basement CEO, saying, "Oh, hey, I'm going to do sales. I'm going to do pre-sales engineering. I'm going to do all of it, the service, the invoicing, all of it." I was the everything guy. That is one that's not scalable. That is such it's you lose sleep, right? I didn't sleep for a year, maybe a few hours, but that what changed, right, to help us get there is one, hiring people, right? Not just for relief.
So what was, if I interrupt for a second, because I hear this and it's easy. I mean, that's a year and a half ago. It's like easy to forget. Yeah. What was the breaking point? Because it is a risk. When you hire somebody, it is a risk.
It is.
What was the breaking point when you said, okay, and then what made you say yes to that first person?
I had sold so much in contracts that if I didn't hire somebody, I was going to crash within a couple of weeks. It was like I have to get someone in now, or I'm going to fail from being too big, right? For having too much. So it was
Yeah.
more of a relief hire than anything else. Going back, I wouldn't do that again. But we can get into that in a
Well,
minute.
yeah, we'll go is I just want to hear is there, sometimes the lessons we learn are not the lessons people should hear. I know it sounds
Yeah,
awful.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
say this is because you hear it as you'll hear the same thing as it's like I went to a military academy, right? Would I ever go again? No.
No.
But should you go? Yeah. Like I feel like there's sometimes like I think there's a reality of in order to survive, you must do more than what's humanly possible. Um, and it will break you. And at that point, you ask for help. When you ask for help, and you never want to go through that again.
My
And
resolve was tested. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so you made that first hire. I would say, what are the things you had? That was like the top three things you did that you think made you successful. Number one is you had your first hire. Did you hire somebody full time or did you hire them contract?
Full time. Yep. It's Cody. If you guys are familiar with our company, you can go look him up on LinkedIn. It's Cody. That man is a godsend. I hope he doesn't watch this. It'll blow up his ego. But yeah.
uh, so you were what? So just that decision is you made your first hire. What made you do full time versus? I mean, there's a lot of white label help you could bring in. What made you decide to go full time versus bring? And there's no wrong way, but what made you decide that?
Yeah, and I weighed that off initially. I was like, you know what? I could just get some a contracting group, some third party white label, and just to fulfillment. I thought about that, but I also had other needs. I was thinking about things that I want to do at scale, the people that I want to train, the people, the culture I want to create here, and you can't do that with white label, right? There
Mm,
was other needs I needed, and Cody in this case had that vision. He, had the right mindset to where I wanted to be today and where I want to be 5 years from now. So that was also a really big step for us is making sure I have the right person in for
mm.
scale. So
So often that first hire, I mean, I've talked to a lot of founders. That first hire is the wrong hire. So you got to a point. I would actually say you got to a point where you had more demand than you could service. I'd actually say you did that right, and so I would call that like the pattern. You must have more demand than you can service,
yep,
and you have a decision at that point. You can either stop creating demand and service, and I'd say that's really hard to get the engine started. So don't
yeah,
ever
yeah.
push off the
You hit that gap, you don't know what it's going to turn into after in 3 months,
yeah.
6 months. It can kill you. Yeah,
Okay, so you decide I'm gonna keep the pedal to the metal, if you would. I'm gonna bring in someone. I'm not gonna do white label. I'm gonna make a hire because I want to create culture and I want to start doing that now. Okay, so you brought someone in. What when you're making that decision? So that's how this is one thing one more demand than you can service. Right thing to do. Not
yep.
stopping. Number two, you hired the right person. Now, what do you think made that right? Like, what did you do right? Was it luck or is it you do something very specific?
Yeah, interviewing aside, I have a very specific interviewing process. It's around not so much just current capability, but learnability and cultural fit. That matters more than else. I've been doing the same interview style since I've been working in corporate and I moved over here. I've brought the same questions,
Mhm.
the same values with me every time. Right. You can have an A player in technicality, but if they're an F in personality and they're toxic, you don't want them on. That's going to create a terrible experience, right? I would rather hire somebody with an A plus personality and B level competency and train them to be what they need to be, the vision of what I need them to scale. That's repeatable every day, right? So
Mm.
number two is making sure you're hiring the right person from a cultural
So,
and technical
what
point.
is there a framework you have, or you just learn? Is there something like if there's a framework, what would you call it, or the steps of it?
It's not a framework. I mean, you could put it under people, process, culture, right? But culture is the number one, right? And then how they're going to interact with other people is part of culture, and then process, right? What's their mindset? How are they going to learn their learnability, right? What they currently have in their tool belt, how you can scale them, right? So
So it sounds like when you're making this first hire, we thought so. First is I had to bring in more people to hire than I actually hired. It sounds like you did. You valued more teachability than technical aptitude. And so you
yeah.
did you did behavior questions. You really understand like, okay, am I gonna like working with this person? Can they learn things? Is there any tests that you did during that time? Like to check, how did you
Yeah, we do.
know?
We do have a technical test. It is not your normal HubSpot admin technical test. I throw some
Okay.
pretty difficult situations at our candidates. With HubSpot, maybe involving things outside of HubSpot because the work that we do here isn't just, we're not just HubSpot gurus, which I'm going to get into later.
Mm.
We deal with ERP systems, we're dealing with field service softwares, we're dealing with revenue, sales, marketing, and service teams, and the back office financing. We're working with everybody. So we do have a technical interview that makes sure you have a kind of a high level or mid level understanding and competency around understanding really the our customer's customer journey and their employee journey. But I'm not expecting everybody to get that 100% right. I'm not expecting them to know everything I know or anything a tenured solutions architect is going to know. But they need to have a base level understanding that I'm confident that I can teach them, and then their willingness to learn, and then again the personality. So
Okay, so there's some level, there's a tech that was I like how you position that. It's like, and I think it's easy to fall trap to hiring HubSpot technical people, and versus especially in the early days, is you need customer facing help to
yeah.
be able to run engagement. So sometimes the technical is not as important. It's how they can interact and serve customers. Okay, so that was we got one, which is we have one and two. What is it? What's the third thing? Like an obstacle that you had to overcome, and how you did it.
Willingness to let go, I would say, is the biggest one, right? I told you I was the garage CEO, the basement CEO. That's obviously not scalable. I have such a passion when working with our clients, and I have the passion of like, I need this to go perfectly, right? And there's tools that can help you let that go, right? Like, hey, super, hey, but willing to just let that go and put trust into other people to do, as long as you're training them correctly to do what you can do, right? So that you can go and do more of other things. So really just letting that trust and handing off that trust to your people, and willing to let go of the thing that is making you stay up night after night.
So what's the first thing you let go? You got what's the first thing you said? I'm gonna have to
It,
not think about it.
yeah, it was our, obviously delivery was the first thing, but also at scale planning for remodeling our delivery process. I Instead of trying to take that whole project on and saying, hey, here's what I want this whole project delivery journey on, I handed it to Cody so that when we got our next teammate and we had other people come in, we had a solid process. I told him the vision, what I wanted, the tools, everything else, and he went nuts, right? To be able to hand that off to somebody else so I can go focus and focus on, hey, what do we need to scale for branding, content, for sales engineering, right? I can go focus on the things to help the revenue side grow. He can do the client operations and everything to support behind that. And that's why I hired him, right? I talked about the strategic standpoint, not just fulfillment. That was really being able to hand those things off was, a breath of fresh air and a night of sleep, especially since I just had a kid. So,
Yeah, we didn't talk about this. This is during this journey
um,
from gold to plat. You had addition to the fam, right?
yeah, we have a 6-month-old girl now. So that also induced the no sleep. But yeah, that on top of growing a business, that's where the resolve was tested. Wouldn't take any of it back though. Great lessons. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
life keeps on lifing, no matter where you are, right? Life
an
keeps on
ass
lifing.
kicker for sure. Yeah.
So you, I don't think take this for granted. I think we may have talked to each other about this, Dan. Was when we make our first hire, uh, should it be sales or should it be delivery? And I am a
Delivery.
firm believer. I am dogmatic about that of service companies specifically, that the CEO or the founder should stay in sales longer than they want to stay in sales because you sell yourself. So I don't think it is just a slam dunk. Of course, I did delivery first. I've seen a lot of founders try to do sales, and I've seen like 50% of the time, 70% of the time, it doesn't work. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means difficult. Okay, so moving, we did think about like here are the three things you had to overcome. You had to, and I say this, you had to overcome. You have to have enough demand consistently that you feel overwhelmed before you can make a hire, and that's just at that you must do it. You
You got to
must do it.
keep doing it until you hurt all the time,
Yes. Yes. You
all
do
the
it
time.
until you hurt and you hire for your pain. So you've hired for pain. You had a very specific way, which is it sounds like you inherited a way of interviewing that you like, which is not true for a lot of people. So you inherited that. You knew how to do a both
Yeah, and
technical
I'm not a
test.
recruiter. Like I've done a
Yeah.
lot of hiring, but I'm not a recruiter. So don't take my mantra as solid gold. It's not.
Well,
It just works for me.
I'm sure
Yeah,
if people reach out to you, you would talk about it. And here's how I made that first hire because
absolutely.
that's a scary decision. So you did that, and now you are in. And the third is okay. Then it's choosing, okay, what the heck I have to let go of these things, and how do I do that, and go through the journey of like actually letting go, um, and doing left and right limits. I think the military is very helpful with that because you can give intent versus tactics, and I think this is big. You give intent versus tactics.
Yeah.
You hire for delivery versus on sales. Okay,
Yeah.
so what is we say this going from this again? What's one thing that I'm gonna do that you wish you would have done earlier from your journey from gold to plat? Now you're seeing in the plat to diamond, which is a feels even steeper, and then you go like it feels steeper. What's one thing you wish you would have done earlier from the plat to from the gold to plat?
Yeah, as part of being in gold, right? And this is a really big consideration for people that are trying to scale an agency right now, was changing our go-to customer, our go-to-market motion sooner as we were growing. I love where we're at now, but I wish I had changed it sooner because I didn't even mean to do this. I had a vision. I talked about niche, on our last interview here, our last podcast. We did niche, but I didn't really, I kind of pigeonholed myself into this HubSpot guru position, which if you're an individual consultant, you're a lifestyle business, that's awesome. If you're trying to scale an agency like this, or scale a firm, especially a technical firm, that's not the solution. You can't just be the HubSpot guru. You need to have an arsenal solution to take to your customers.
So I'm going to hear you. I agree with this statement. I'm going to recap that, make sure I understand. Is what Dan's saying is if it's one thing to niche. So it's even saying, hey, I'm the HubSpot expert for field operations in the manufacturing realm. It's another thing to say, hey, I help CROs operationalize their processes and win in there. And I specialize, and my weapon of choice is HubSpot. Although I am proficient with NetSuite and Microsoft, like whatever is next, like
Dynamics and
yeah,
Zuper and all these
dynamics.
other
Like so,
tools.
like hey, if you give it to me, I can give you a biased opinion because I have one about what you should be doing, and I can handle myself no matter what weapon you give me.
Yeah. I'm the strong opinion, if you don't go that way, you won't scale.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
won't.
So I've you are, I would say you're right, and just my experience when I was at Rev Partners is we had the same thing. We said, hey, I because I used to do dynamics in Salesforce,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it was a
Yeah.
and I was like, hey, I help CRO. You have an 18-month death sentence. You have a cancer. You've been given your terminal illness. You have 18 months, and I'm going to help you not die. And I happen to be really good at HubSpot. And if you don't want to use HubSpot, then you don't want to work with me. All right. But it's a different positioning. It's not, hey, I'm really good at HubSpot and I help
Yeah.
CROs. No, I'm here for CROs. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Just as you're thinking, you're now going from plat to diamond, and I want to have you here again when you make that thing.
That'd be
First off,
exciting. Yeah.
what's the big bet that you think is going to help you get there?
I hate writing this train because I feel like I've gotten fatigued from it, but AI is such a powerful tool for our clients, especially in the industry we're in, where our clients are so behind in tech. It is such a huge steroid shot. I hear from our customers, I didn't even know this existed so commonly compared to, your normal SaaS customer that is thinking about this daily. And I'm not just talking about HubSpot's Breeze tool. I'm not talking about AI agents. I'm talking about so many other tools within our other partners' softwares, right? There's tools that we have like Ask Elephant. There's tools that are within our field service, our partner softwares like Zuper, on top of all these other things that we can do to package a solution for these people to go to their customers faster, gain ROI, gain post sale revenue faster. And I'm just excited to do more of that for our customers. That is a solution that has been what's rocketing us through right now. So
So yeah, um, I will not let you leave with saying AI because everybody says it. So you'll hear me, which I
that's
agree.
fine.
I agree.
That's
But I
fine.
heard you say is we have a package and we have a way of delivering that includes new technologies people haven't seen before, and we think
Yeah,
and we're winning with it, and we're going to continue to win with it. But what's
that's
the
better.
bet? So a bet must be different. So by the way, I think everybody says that. So this is me. This is me. It's like everybody says, oh, I'm helping you with AI. Of course, you're not doing services if you're not helping people integrate AI at this point. What is your bet? What's going to make you like, hey, I'm making this and it could be wrong? Okay. to get you to plat to diamond. And maybe I'm going to hire 3 more people. It may be I'm going to bring on what's something that you could get wrong and you come back in a year and say, made the wrong decision.
You know what? Something, and I'm hesitant to talk about this, but this is something we've been talking about very deliberately, especially for our industry, is that and this is for us as a business, is even about AI as a service or products. It's about something we're changing as a motion, is being a solutions partner, but also having apps for our customers. We're in such a specific market, and there's so many areas that we're not servicing. And I don't want to give away too much for what we're studying into, but we are looking at also becoming an app partner. And you know what? It looks promising. Everything we're studying looks great, but it could crash and burn. So it could kick our ass.
That's a bet, Dan. So yeah, it's good. So this is good. It's like, and there's been a lot of people who've done that have been successful, is to create. I think it's really helpful if you are an industry specific, because there's like that's where the leverage is. And if the app TAM is not big enough, there won't be apps built for it. And so when you're doing industry specific, HubSpot specific, in an industry helping, apps can be really helpful to help you do something, because it's you own it, you're doing it. Yeah. So and it could crash and burn. It's worked and it's not worked. So yeah. Well, Dan, thank you.
Thank you.
Question that we have to leave at the end of this. What is how long do you think it's going to take you to get to the next
hit diamond?
Hit diamond. What's the timeline?
I
bet works. What you're going for?
I know this is Fast and Turious, but you heard me say it on my last one. Like, I think tiering is kind of a secondary concern for us. To helping and solutioning our customers, right? I think we'll hit diamond along the way. That being said, if we hit it in a year, that's my audacious, brave goal. I want to hit it in a year. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm not betting on hitting it in another year, but I'd love to see it.
So beginning of year 2027, granite slopes, going
maybe
to diamond slope, black diamond slope. Okay, I hear you. The right answer is tiering doesn't matter, and the right answer is I got proxies along the way that tell me I'm doing the right thing. And there may be a revenue goal as well. Dan, thank you for
thank you
for coming back. Thank you for telling about our journey, and I think it's way more valuable than either one of us think it is to talk about these. If people want to reach out to you and talk to you about the journey at all, where can they find you?
Yeah, find me on LinkedIn. It's just Daniel Peterson. You can also go to our website. It's graniteslopes.com. Feel free to contact me through there. If you just want to sit down and have a powwow, reach out either way. So happy to talk about any of this. All my struggles. It's just open air.
Well, Dan, appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Hey, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. Until next time, stay awesome. Keep doing it big and never, ever, ever stop believing. Adios.
Thanks, man.